I wish I had learned this truth many years ago. Be thankful for the days, good and bad.
All right, welcome to another episode of Warrior versus Zombie. And today, I would like to say I have an exciting guest. You'll be the judge of that because I'm going to be talking myself. And the title of today's episode is The Case for the Zombie Apocalypse and its Challenge to Our Warrior Journey. I wanted to make sure that as we embark into 2022, that our Warrior versus Zombie audience has my perspective. We're going to have a little bit of fun here today because I'm going to bring out something that I haven't shared for a while. I used to have an online zombie quiz, and we're going to talk about the case for the zombie apocalypse and its effect on our journey. So with that, let me explain to you, if you haven't been with us before, what Warrior versus Zombie is all about. Success is a journey. It's not a destination. As warriors, we all have a history of ups and downs, wins and losses that are all part of making us who we are up to this point and provide a foundation for our path forward. We all battle our inner zombie as well as those zombies in our world. Each episode I interview warriors. Today, I'm interviewing myself. I'm going to answer some questions that I've been asked, who are aspiring leaders from all walks of life, entrepreneurs, artists, health practitioners, business owners, literally any inspired leader that has a story to tell. These warriors all have a cause, unique value, and a vision that goes generations into the future. The screen here, if you're watching via video, kind of gives the high points of my background, but I'm known as worldwide as the Vision Warrior, and I've dedicated my life to changing the world one dream at a time. I do this by helping aspiring leaders, warriors, discover, clarify, and progress toward their dream vision and building a community of servant leaders. I'm the author and creator of the Vision Challenge, the host of one of the fastest growing podcasts, this one you're listening to, Warrior versus Zombie. And I'm soon to be the author of Vision Warriors Survive and Thrive in the Zombie Apocalypse. During my 45 years of business transformation leadership, I've spoken to tens of thousands of aspiring leaders and have been the driving force behind the growth and transformation of numerous organizations and individuals, leading to billions of dollars in sales and a measurable impact. My 30 years in corporate America included numerous VP roles in GM and EDS, where I worked with Fortune 500 companies in all industries, culminating in my final corporate role as a partner at Accenture, where I helped build their outsourcing practice. I retired in 2005 and began the pursuit of what I call my vision of impact and making a difference. Since that time, I've clarified that vision and consulted with many for-profit, non-for-profit businesses to include a 3-year stint as an executive director and executive pastor. I currently am still retired, and if you ever have questions about how I can be retired and be doing what I'm doing, you really need to understand what retirement is. And I'm living my ideal day as a CEO of my Vision Warrior, co-founder of the Business Growth Network, Vision Warrior for My Wellbeing Compass, leader of Richardson Plano Networkers, founder of Men's Breakfast Network, and founding ambassador of Be Connected, which is where this show is streaming live today. So I want to share with you a little bit one of the reasons why we're here today, and we'll then take a break and I'll come back and we'll start into talking about more of this is that as warriors, we're always moving forward. There are challenges on our journey, and we had a guest today. In fact, we had a couple of guests today, and both needed to reschedule. It's that time of year with holidays and such. And so I figured that was a divine call to explain to you the first step in moving forward towards your ideal day and moving forward with your vision. So today we're going to talk about the case for the zombie apocalypse. Some people still say, well, why do you use zombies? Why do you do that? So I decided that in today's world, with all of the conversations and things that are going on with people moving forward, not of their own intent, doing things, the zombie apocalypse is upon us. We're all infected by the zombie virus. So what I wanted to do in today's episode is cover a little bit about, and maybe have you come away waking up and realizing that you are a zombie and that you are in need of transformation. So with that, let's get into the discussion. We'll take a quick break and I'll be right back, and we'll start into this journey of the case of the zombie apocalypse.
But the miles become the teacher while the student learns real slow, traveling blind most of the time. Wherever you go, it's not the getting there, it's the journey every day. It's not a race to see.
Welcome back, and hope you enjoyed, for the audio audience, a little bit of Ricky Jean Wright. And I am on the video actually going through a few slides, but they mainly are for organizational purposes, so you're not missing much on the audio. I think we'll cover all the points. And I just did a summit last Saturday and a mastermind, and we focused on our vision for 2022, whether we intend to just survive or to thrive. I think the consensus, both in the mastermind and in the talk that I did in the summit for the audience, was their objectives for 2022 would be to thrive. The vision for 2022 isn't just to survive. And I'm hoping that as a warrior listener here, Warrior versus Zombie, that you've actually embraced the opportunity to thrive. And so the question is, how do you go about that? How would we build the foundation and move forward as a warrior to thrive in 2022? One of the things that I've offered to my audience, and I'm offering to the Warrior versus Zombie audience today, if you're listening to this, reach out to me via Be Connected. Become part of my community, which I'll share with you where it is at the end of this podcast, and get a copy of the 2022 Vision Challenge. That'll be clear to you as you go through. That's complimentary to anybody that's in my audience. I'm actually in the process of working through a revision of that and an improvement of that. But for purposes of moving forward into 2022, it's one of those things. I just went through my own vision challenge and have some specific objectives for the 2022 that are on my journey and are consistent with the vision challenge. And essentially, it's something that I revisit with some frequency and recommend that for my clients. So this is the beginning point, if you will, the starting point for the Vision Challenge. Now, the Vision Challenge, the journey that you go on in the process of making your dream or your vision a reality, is first waking up. And that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on our zombie infection and the fact that we're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Interestingly enough, I started this well before the pandemic last year, well before everything that we've seen here. And actually, what happened in 2020 provided all kinds of content for the book that I'm writing, and therefore it's been delayed, if you will, or I'm incorporating a lot of the examples and the reality that we've seen that really illustrate the case for the zombie apocalypse and really how to survive and thrive as we move forward in it and out of it, It's not required whether the zombie apocalypse exists or not. So the first step is waking up. Second step is really determining your vision, your dream, your destination, your ideal day, where you're going. And that really is what the vision challenge is all about. And then step 3 is the daily transformation that occurs to align yourself with that dream. And we can get into more detail maybe in subsequent episodes, or you can reach out to me after this podcast or show, and we can talk about it. But I'll give you a way to stay connected with me at the end. So the bottom line is we're all zombies. I've highlighted several areas that we're going to talk about. I'm going to go through those very quickly in terms of the list, and then we'll come back and I'm going to share with you what I call the zombie quiz. It's used to be online. I've now moved it offline, but I will share it with you. In fact, if you listen to this podcast and would like the actual document that walks you through these questions, explains some of this stuff, it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's also very true. So anyway, the topics that we're going to talk about that really should give you some insights or revelation to where you are on the zombie spectrum, let's put it that way, is looking at your lifestyle practices, looking at your ability to communicate your values and your purpose, your conversations, where you hang out, the ability to focus, your consumption or consumer lifestyle, how you eat, your eating habits, your contribution to the community that you're in, the sustainability of what you're doing, and the impact and legacy that you have. So those are the 10 areas. The zombie quiz is a 10 question and it goes through some statements. It takes maybe 10 or 15 minutes to do, and it's kind of fun. And we're going to walk through that a little bit today, just to give you some fodder for consideration. And ultimately, as I said, if you want this document, you'll join my community. I'll get you that. I'll get you the vision challenge, the year in review. There's a lot of things that'll be available to you if you reach out to me during and after this podcast. So with that, I'm going to take another quick break, and we're going to come back and walk through the zombie quiz.
It's not a race to see how many people know your name. One day you realize time was worth more than the gold. It's not the getting there. When you get there, you'll know. Funny how wisdom and youth.
All right, we're back after listening to a little bit of Ricky Jean Wright, and It's Not the Getting There, which is actually very appropriate for this discussion as well. So in the introduction to the zombie quiz, what I said was that zombies or the Walking Dead, they're most all commonly able to pass as productive members of society. So first of all, just because you're high functioning, just because you're achieving things, you could be making millions of dollars. My zombie story and why this came to me was I woke up with a 7-digit income, traveling all the time, going through the motions, and realized that I was doing just that. I had a zombie infection, and that I was going to reach the end of my life with regrets if something didn't change of my own intent. So they don't always missing limbs when people say, they're the living dead, and I realize that, there's a lot of both. I'm a Christian. I realize there's a lot of angst about using a zombie metaphor as a reference or whatever. But again, I'm not really looking, this isn't targeted at somebody. If you're offended by me saying that you're infected with a zombie virus, I'm sorry. But maybe after you take the quiz, you'll have a little bit more insight. So first question is, healthy lifestyle practices. So which statement, I would ask you, and I'm going to give you 4 choices for each statement, and then you can kind of come back and say I'm a 1 or a 2 or 3 or 4. Okay. So first one is, which statement best describes your healthy lifestyle practices? The first one answer is, well, I'm not really sure what qualifies as a healthy lifestyle practice. Second one is, I'm too busy with my daily work and family commitments to think about it. Third one is, I periodically go on diets, exercise challenges in hopes that I feel better. And the fourth one is, I focus on living a healthy and happy, balanced life, which includes regular exercise and healthy food and life choices. So where do you fit? And again, there's nothing to be served by answering it the way you think maybe you should answer it. I would suggest that really kind of doing this self-assessment, be a self-observant, self-aware, answer those questions. The second question is, which statement best describes your ability to communicate your values, your reasons, and purpose for what you do? A, I'm not sure, or the first choice, what you're asking, or I don't even give it much thought. B, I'm too busy living my life, doing my job, running my business to waste time on that kind of stuff. I can get through most communication situations with my ability to be agreeable and non-confrontational. 3, I regularly give a good sales pitch. I can explain my products and services to my satisfaction, and I can respond to concerns and questions with well-rehearsed, studied answers, very confident in my ability to respond. Or 4, I daily share a clear vision of my future, why it's important to me, and the value I provide to those that I serve that will enable me to get there. Okay, so that's the second question. And remember, there's 10 questions. Now, question 3, which statement best describes your conversations? First statement, although infrequent, when somebody gives me an opportunity to talk, I readily share my challenges and issues with the topic at hand, my family, business, industry, government, or anything that occurs to me. 2, I'm too busy for most conversations outside my immediate areas of focus, but I'm great at identifying problems and quickly share my perspective and move on. 3, I regularly encounter people wanting to talk and quickly relate to their challenges, and I can explain my perspective clearly. 4, I love to hear people's challenges and dreams. Life is good, and I love to talk about our bright future and where we are on our journey. Question 4, which statement best describes where you hang out? Hang out is the first answer, is a question mark. I guess I haven't paid much attention. Probably wherever most everyone else is. First answer, first response. Second statement that might be the most accurate, I frequently find myself at shopping malls, Sam's, Costco, large events, and parties that draw big crowds. Maybe in today's environment, it might be riots or whatever, protests. 3, I regularly attend meetings, conferences, and networking events. Sometimes I wonder why afterwards. Or 4, I can always be found in a location that I have determined best aligns with my ability to serve others, my goals for the day, and my vision for the future. Question 5, which statement best describes your ability to focus? Focus is the first response. What's that? Did you see that crazy cat video? 2, I wish I had time to focus. Every time I start a project or see a new method, tool, or technology, I find a better option before I can even check it out. I generally adopt whatever my peers and others recommend, but I'm quick to change if a better option comes along. 3, I'm generally able to focus. My to-do list grows daily, even though I seem to be successful and get a lot done. I'm constantly looking for better ways to do things that will improve my life. In fact, I recently hired a consultant or adopted a new approach, system, or technology. Or 4, I have a Zen-like focus. I almost always know exactly why I'm working on the task or project. I know the value I'm contributing and have confidence in where it and I am going. Question 6, which statement best describes your consumer lifestyle? Because this is one that I think we all have to really look at this time of year. We're coming in the Christmas season. I don't know where you're at with your shopping or your normal Christmas practice. Hopefully it's closer to normal maybe than it was last year, or where the supply chain is affecting you or anything like that. But so the first answer that you could give, or maybe your response, is I live to shop. I buy as much as I can. Usually I get name brands and make sure I accumulate as much as possible. 2, I don't have as much time to shop as I'd like. I have a long wish list, but I still have a lot of cool stuff. I regularly share reviews and advice on brands with my vast inventory and experience. 3, I try not to accumulate things and only buy what I can afford to buy or make payments. I sometimes spend time looking for items that I know I purchased, but I can't readily find them. And 4, I only have things in my life that add joy and are clearly fulfilling my purpose. They enable me to provide value and are part of my dream vision for my life. Question 7, which statement best describes your eating habits? First statement, I love to eat. I love buffets, all you can eat. The more the better, especially meat. I like that one. 2, I don't have as much time to relax or sit down for a meal, so when food is available, I eat it. I eat my fill when I can. 3, I try not to overeat and regularly adjust my habits to take advantage of the latest healthy trend. And 4, I am in touch with my body and my nutritional needs. I don't overeat and only consume foods that maintain my ideal weight with high energy and stamina. Question 8, which statement best describes your contribution to the community? First answer could be, I'm not sure what counts as community, or I haven't even heard any complaints, so I must be doing okay. Second response, I don't have time to worry about my community. I've got what I need to get by. 3, I pay my fair share of taxes, put money in the offering plate, or support charities when needed. I share my products and services with the community at a fair and competitive price. And 4, I always invest in my community, my network, and those people and causes without expectation of recognition or reward. I'm known for my generosity and value to my community. Question 9, which statement best describes your sustainability? First response, what does that mean? Or maybe I live for today is my motto. No one is guaranteed tomorrow, so I'll deal with it tomorrow. Second response, maybe I only do what feels good to me. I don't bother anyone else. Business is good and I've got money, or I can get it, to enjoy life, so let's party. Third, I'm getting a paycheck or regular income. I'm able to support myself and my family. I recycle, try to avoid most things that are bad for me or my family, and often invest in my business and sustainable practices. Or 4, I have a clear vision of my future, make daily decisions that enhance my ability to realize that vision, optimizing the resources available to me and the value I'm able to provide while minimizing waste. And finally, question 10. This is one that I'm very focused on and one that really triggered my whole journey here is, which statement best describes your impact and legacy? First of all, first response, impact, legacy. I don't know or really care. Is that harsh? 2, I'm fine. I have most everything I need or know how to get. When I die, I won't owe anyone anything. And if anyone has a problem with that, it's their problem, not mine. 3, I try to lead a happy and wholesome life. I always consider the impact of my lifestyle on others, and I regularly evaluate my decisions for how they will serve those closest to me in the future. And 4, everything I do is aligned with my future vision, which includes understanding and investing in my ability to positively impact my family, community, and the world. I am executing an intentional plan to leave a lasting positive legacy for those that follow me. So the question is, am I a zombie? I think if you answer those questions honestly, you'll find that we're all infected. And I would say I truly am infected with the zombie virus. I mean, I basically have challenges around those areas. And so if you want to pursue this, if you want to understand a little more on what it means and how to score it and those kinds of things, join my group and we will pursue that conversation. I'm very interactive. We'll give you many ways, different ways to connect with me. I'm always in the mode of wanting to serve my community. But let's take another quick break now that we've gone through all the questions. We'll come into what I call the land the plane segment. We'll land the plane relatively quickly. But I'm going to go back through these various zombie traits and talk to you a little bit about why the zombie metaphor works and maybe give you some insight. And the key here is this. I'll tell you the bottom line at the end of this in terms of why this is an important conversation. So with that, let's take another quick break where he'll hear a little bit more of It's Not the Getting There with Ricky Jean Wright. And we'll be right back with Warrior versus Zombie and the case for the zombie apocalypse and how it's affecting our warrior journey.
Funny how wisdom and youth are always two different games. The years flew by so fast is the common human complaint. The memories in our minds turn to diamonds in our soul, and by the grace of God, on down the road we go.
All right, we're back, and we're in the land the plane segment. I'm excited to kind of bring it to a head here. Encourage you again to stay connected, to continue on this journey. But let's give a little clarity to why the questions are what they are. First, the lifestyle practices that questions, if you went through and answered those in your mind or wrote them down and answered them on paper, or if you've coming back to this video and are looking at the zombie quiz itself in hard form and you've answered the questions, let me explain why or how these relate to your inner zombie. First of all, the zombie trait questions around lifestyle practices I call dazed and confused. Basically, zombies are not thinking about cause and effect. They don't really understand their place in the world. That's not a part of their conscious thought. They're going through the motions of being a zombie. The second trait, communicating values and purpose. Zombies kind of don't speak very clearly, if at all, depending on what movie or what metaphor you're looking at. And so zombies are going through, and when you ask them to explain why they're doing what they're doing, if you have trouble communicating and justifying your actions, you're probably in your zombie brain. Conversations, when it comes to talking to zombies, they're usually moaning and groaning. They are basically reacting to the feelings they have, not really focused on anything outside themselves. And so They are likely among oftentimes even the most privileged people, but continually complaining. And so, again, that type of complaint, that type of conversation is indicative of zombie infection. If you want to know where to find zombies, the next one is where they hang out. As I say, location, location, location. If you want to either engage or avoid or understand when you're in a herd of zombies, basically they're often found in places where other people congregate and are often there just because other people are there. It could be a shopping mall, it can be the big box stores. They tend to be drawn to where everybody else is. So they're not moving forward in their own intention. They're being attracted and moving along in a herd like a zombie herd. The other thing is when you look at we talk about the ability to focus. Zombies are easily distracted. If you've ever watched or read anything about zombies, loud noises, flashing lights, all of those things are easily ways to manipulate your zombie mind. So things that may in our world be creating fear or a manipulation, that's really what we're talking about when we talk about being easily distracted from your intent. The consumer lifestyle, which is an interesting one, revolves around the value system. Zombies don't have a very high level value system and therefore very shallow. And if you're just accumulating stuff, accumulating things in your life, and you really aren't conscious about why, because your zombie mind is being spoken to by advertisers and a bunch of folks that want to manipulate or make you move in the direction they want you to move. So again, an attribute of a zombie is their consumer lifestyle. If you look at yourself and you say, I don't know why I bought this, I don't know where it is. I don't even know that I used it. I mean, all of those are attributes and probably a byproduct of the zombie infection. And so the other thing is eating habits, mindless eating. Zombies, if in the movies, are mindlessly going for the next meal. May not be searching for brains, but you're looking for consumption. And that's also the zombie mind, and zombie infection is indicated in the tendency we have towards obesity and other things. So again, look at your habits, look at those around you. One of the things I would say as you're going through this, it's not just about recognizing these and determining how infected you are, but also you want to know when you're in the presence of other zombies, because we will become the product of the 5 people we hang around with most. And if we're only hanging around zombies, people that exhibit these attributes, then your infection is going to grow. The contribution to community, when you think about those questions, it really is, I say zombies are unconscious takers. They're in the game all the time for themselves. If it's not serving them, if it's not feeding their hunger, if it's not dealing with their fears or anything else, they're basically out. They're unconscious takers. So that is another attribute of a zombie. The other one is sustainability. When we talk about sustainability and the questions around that, really, the zombies are very destructive. They are not thinking about how some practice or what I would call unintended consequences from actions that they take. They may even be, the zombie may even feel, and again, feel is a big thing, right? Not necessarily thinking, but feeling that this is something that they do, but not thinking about the destructive behavior. I mean, it's very evident when you look at riots, you look at group actions that aren't serving the individuals, and they're basically not thinking about the unintended consequences, often the case with government authorities or large corporate activities where they think about what's good for them and the people running those, but aren't really thinking about the destructive nature or the destructive behavior that they're undergoing. The last one is impact or legacy. And this I call blood on your hands, or blood on their hands if you're looking at a zombie. And that is that it really comes at a fatal expense to others. So moving forward with your zombie mind, just moving in fear, not thinking about your intention, not looking at the holistic picture of what your life and what your vision is, and just moving forward without the consideration of the legacy and the impact that you're leaving, is again another strong indication that you're infected with the zombie virus. When you go through all of these questions and you answer those questions, I will give you in the group, or we can talk about it, a score for each of those answers. And then when you look at those, you're either from 99 to 100% zombie to you're basically helping us save the world. That's the spectrum. So anyway, it's been great. Love doing this episode. Waking up is important. And so with that, we're going to call it an episode of Warrior versus Zombie. We'll be back next week on Thursday at 11. And if you want to connect with me, I'm going to bring up the last slide here, which is, in fact, the links, HTTPS or bkvisionwarriors.com/warrior and bkvisionwarrior.com/RPN group. Both of those, if you're not registered in the Be Connected community, go ahead and do that. That's free. Be part of that community. And there you can, as I said earlier, have access to the zombie quiz, the year in review, and the 2022 Vision Challenge. So with that, we'll hear the final segment of It's Not the Getting There with Ricky Jean Wright. And we'll be back next week with Warrior versus Zombie.
It's not the getting there, it's the journey every day. It's not a race to see how many people know your name. One day you realize time was worth more than the gold. It's not the getting there. When you get there, you'll know. One day you realize time was worth more than the gold. It's not the getting there. When you get there, you'll know.